It's 8:30 in the Tennessee Valley and time for another edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. It's a great morning and good morning to you, Dr. Pollard.
Hey, good morning, Donna. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing well on this Motivation Monday. Like to live today. How about you?
I am doing really well. It's a beautiful, for those who are listening, it's a beautiful morning here in Huntsville, Alabama. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.
It is, and we hope that it stays this way, but they are expecting a little bit of rain later on, but that's okay. We can take our smiles with us wherever we go, even if
Well, that's true. That's true. And some of us, even though it's going to rain, we need to get our car washed, right? I had a friend of mine say, I told a friend of mine one day, Donna, when my car was really dirty, and it was going to rain. So I said, well, I'm not going to wash my car because it's about to rain. He said, well, a a dry dirty car is a dirty car, and a wet dirty car is still a dirty car.
yeah.
So uh, so one of those things, one of my takeaways from that was the need to make sure that we are making adequate preparations, and simply because the exterior changes, it doesn't change the reality. So that's a convoluted way of saying that what we are on the outside, as we think about a word for today, what we are on the outside is really important. It's really important. And how we present ourselves is really important. One of the things that we're thinking about today as we talk about creatives and project reflection is, where do they find space to present the things that God has given to them? And I think that's where we're going this morning as we think about this project reflection conversation during Women's History Month, when
Yeah.
so many good
Yes.
things are being shared. I mean, it's just wonderful. So many good things are being shared, and we're all being inspired. So I'm glad for this morning's broadcast, and I think we're going to have a great discussion.
I think so too, Dr. Paula. I'm really enjoying the Women's History Reflection and Focus this month as well. So tell us about the Project Reflection. I have no idea what it is. And all I
Okay, Dr. Ted Brown is here, the chair of our business program. So let's start with him, and then let's move through our guests, and each one can introduce themselves.
Um, Theodore Brown, Ted Brown, Chair, School of Business, Professor of Management. And I want to say good morning to everyone.
Good morning,
It's a
Ted. Good
privilege to be here to see the smiling faces. And I share with you on the dirty car, Dr. Pollard. In the School of Business, we are so blessed that under the leadership of our Dean, Dr. John Anderson, and of course, your vision, Dr. Pollard, and the faculty and staff, to have been able to have an entrepreneurship program and then an entrepreneurship center. Our director, Professor Julian Waddell, and he's assisted with Samantha, who will share more about that, and his team through the School of Business have been able to expand the center, and the School of Business is serving as a host. And so we're just grateful to be able to allow the space and provide the space and the collaboration and partnership with the Entrepreneurship Center, with Project Reflection, so that the students across the campus, because it's interdisciplinary as well as in the community, can become a part of this working unit in this entrepreneurship center and spirit. So I'm just thankful to partner with that and to be able to provide support as the chair and our faculty as we continue to move forward. And we want everyone to know, especially the students that are at Oakwood University across campus, that the School of Business, the Entrepreneurship Center, is for them. It's for all of us, and in the community as well, that we're here not only to serve on the academic level, but also in the community space to provide the support for entrepreneurs, for people with creative spirits and thought, so that they can expand and grow and share what they have created, what they have done, so that we can display that, and that will start in the School of Business. So thank you so much for this partnership, and we are excited about what's going to come out of it.
All righty. Well, I want to hear from Miss Samantha, and I know our listeners do as well. Samantha Champagne is the office manager for the School of Business and Technology and building coordinator manager for the Oakwood University Launchpad and Entrepreneurship Center. So tell us about the project, a little more detail.
So the project reflection actually came about from one of our entrepreneurs in residence, which would be Jana. She, as a matter of fact, I was talking with her about it, and she said that it actually came to her as an idea when she was a student at Oakwood University. And so last school year, when we had Entrepreneurship Week, it was her and Terrell and a few other people who were helping out plan it. And this year, her and Terrell Davis actually became official entrepreneurs in residence. And so they decided to have like their own little initiatives that they were coming up with. So this project reflection is Jana's baby.
Yes.
Just to, I guess the history of it is just like, you know, everybody always talks about Black history and slavery and everything. However, our history didn't begin with slavery. You know, we were kings, we were queens, we were scientists, we were doctors. And so Project Reflection is just an initiative that Jana came up with to bring us back to our real roots of royalty
Yes.
and innovation. So Jana can touch a little bit more about it now if she would like to.
To Jana, so she can tell us about it. This is your brainchild.
Yes.
Yes. And once again, I want to say thank you for having me here. And I know I said a little bit earlier, I tend to get very passionate about this project. So if I tend to go a little long, you just stop me. That's fine too. But Project Reflection, it's kind of a multifaceted initiative. On the surface, yes, it is definitely about commissioning Oakwood University artists, so that whether that's students, alumni, faculty, or staff artists, to commission and create these pieces of artwork that reflect African life before the slave trade. But it's also in partnership with the OU Launchpad, it's also an opportunity to provide real world experience to artists, like while they're in school, you know, and give them like a real job, a real client, a real brief. And then additionally, it's an opportunity to raise funds for our partners. So.
Okay, so tell us how it actually works. And is it just for students of Oakwood University?
No, it's actually, there's ways for everybody to get involved. As far as the art that we're getting specifically, that is specifically for Oakwood University student, alumni, faculty, or staff artists. Okay. So that opportunity is for, you know, the Oakwood affiliated creatives that are out there. But there are opportunities, which I think we'll touch on a little bit later, for anyone at all who is interested to get involved.
Now, is this a new type of project, or is there something similar like this around at other colleges and universities, or is this really something unique to Oakwood University?
As far as I know, and I have done some extensive research, of course, there are things that always get away from us, but as far as I know, there is nothing like this that has been done or that is being done right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Donna, just for the benefit of our listeners, so Jana, when we talk about artists, so could you just kind of give us the scope of what captured by the term artist? Who are we talking about, and what are we talking about in terms of what's captured by an art? How do I know if I'm an artist or not?
I think I'm an artist, therefore I am. How about that?
Descartes. Okay.
It's really for the visual artist. So I'm actually glad that you asked that question, because I think it is an important distinction. Mm-hmm. And when I say visual artist too, I'm not actually just talking about paint or sketching, or I mean, if you do sculpture, if you do glass work, if you do, you know, whatever medium it is that you use, if we can physically see it, we are talking about you. So yeah, this is for anybody who is visually, artistically inclined.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk. What about the opportunities they have and participating in this program, this project? So let's say I'm an artist, I create something and it's accepted. Is it just going to be displayed on the campus, or are there other opportunities outside of the campus that this art can be displayed, and how is it displayed?
Well, yes, it is going to be displayed on the campus, and we're going to, I'm basically kind of, right now we're working with 3 partners. We're working with, WJOU, Oakwood University School of Business, as well as the Launchpad. So they will be displayed in these areas, or areas that are approved by, these organizations. But I think that, we can't underestimate the power of having that artwork displayed in these venues. A lot of people visit those locations. And so just by having your artwork installed, in the School of Business, in OU Launchpad, at WJOU, people will see that for decades, generations to come. We have artwork. One of my favorite pieces on campus is in actually the BT building. And it's been there since since I was a student there in 2010, and it's still there. And I have researched the guy and just found out who he is. He's actually related to a friend of mine, so that was pretty cool. But just by virtue of that artwork being there, they are going to be able to get exposure from that just for as long as that artwork remains in place.
Absolutely. Donna and Jenna and Ted and Samantha, when we were renovating Cunningham Hall to the tune of about $7 million a few years ago, one of the things that we included in the hallways was student art. So if someone wants to get an opportunity to see some of the things that Jenna is describing in Cunningham Hall, we have along the hallways, we have art that was created by our students and put up for a display. And it's very attractive, very inspiring, and full of all kinds of wonderful messaging. So I hear what you're saying. Now I get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, we got that real world example. And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because that really goes to show you that we have extremely talented artists that are on campus. And I'm really, really proud to present this project as a chance for them to kind of get involved and leave their mark in a way that they, typically otherwise wouldn't be able to.
So how is it connected to the OU Launchpad? And I think we kind of touched on that a little bit, but how are the two working together to help benefit our students?
So, Samantha, did you want to answer
this? You can go ahead.
So OU Launchpad, this was something that was really done with them in mind. We can talk a little bit later about how the idea actually came to me, but once I kind of came in as an entrepreneur in residence, I saw an opportunity to kind of create, like I said earlier, real world experience for artists. Having been a starving artist myself, I realized that there is a need to have that outlet, not just to be able to express yourself and have it seen and appreciated, but also to be paid and make money. So we wanted to create an opportunity for aspiring artists, amateur artists, to actually, see what it's like to get a real brief, to work with a real client, to work with real deadlines, a real time frame, real restrictions, real parameters, and just kind of get their feet wet, and, additionally, also a chance to get paid what they're worth, for a new artist, for, an amateur artist. That can really be the difference between whether you go into a lifelong career as an artist, or you just, decide to do it as your, after you get off the clock, So.
We're not only talking about if you have some works already in existence being a part of it, but actually being commissioned for specific works that they can get an experience on how to work in real life and letting your work be your income for you and commission work. Okay, how challenging is that for students?
Yes.
That's a big step from just, okay, I'm in my room and I'm painting my stuff and somebody likes it. Now you got to listen to a client. And so I'm sure it must be, that's where OU Launchpad also comes in to help train the artists and how to have conversations and talk to clients and things like that. Is that right, Samantha?
Yes. So we do have things of that nature where, there's workshops, we have people who are getting trained, to teach or to train other students or faculty or staff on things like that. So we're excited. I mean, we do have an application for people who do want to get involved or who want to submit pieces. They can find that application on oulaunchpad.com. And at the top, there's like a little yellow bar that they can just click and go ahead and do their submission for that. And in the application, they ask, very specific questions. So make sure you put down all your information, materials, like sizes of things that you need. We want to know everything and how much, so we can, as you say, commission and get everybody involved and get you what you are worthy of, like the payment that you're worthy of. Like, you put the price on it. We're not going to tell you, how much we're going to pay you. It's what you believe you're worth. So.
Oh, that's amazing. So tell us about some of the artists that are already involved in this project.
Okay, so we're actually talking to quite a few artists. Once we, kind of broadcast that this was the project that we were doing during Entrepreneurship Week a couple weeks ago, we have gotten a number of applicants, to send in, things that they actually want to have placed on campus. We have not approved any artists as of yet. And the reason why is because this is a very, very specific brief. And it's not usual. You asked if there were other, places that were doing this. This is not your typical brief. And so what we've gotten is a lot of really intriguing and inspiring pieces that I believe would be extremely beautiful and would really elevate Oakwood University's campus. But at the same time, it's not exactly fitting the brief. And I love that, though, because that shows us that just in doing the application process, we are now pushing students. We're pushing these applicants to, go past where you usually draw your inspiration, the usual, where you go when you think about Black history. We're really asking them to go further than that. Right. And it's really, really pushing these students out of their comfort zone. So, we've had email conversations back and forth, where they just they want more information and that kind of thing. And that's actually, if you were able to tune in during OU Entrepreneurship Week, we actually did have somebody come in on the day that we announced Project Reflection to talk about ancient African life, really just to get those juices flowing. Mm-hmm. And so, so that's kind of a long answer to say that we haven't approved any artists yet. There's a lot of interest. We haven't approved anybody yet. But like I said, it's just because we want to make sure that they know exactly what we're asking them to do. And we want to make sure that what they put out can really stand the test of time in terms of what Project Reflection is supposed to do.
Wow. So that's,
yes.
Yeah, so I just wanted to reiterate again, if you're interested, make sure you go to www.oulaunchpad.com, and the application is up at the top. I believe it says Project Reflection application or something of that nature.
Now, Jana, you said something in your response to that question that reminded me to go back and ask you, I guess to talk a little bit more. You did touch on it. Talk a little bit more about what you're looking for. Is it only African American art, or that focus on African American history, or is it expanded in any way? How limited is it? Just speak a little bit more about that.
Sure. So what we're really looking for is artwork that depicts or celebrates African life before the slave trade. So not African American, we're talking about African, ancient African, life, basically life uninterrupted, if you will. And we really, really want that type of artwork. If I could, kind of dive into the background of where this project came from. But, this is something that kind of came to me when I was a student at Oakwood University, walking the halls and seeing a lot of the beautiful artwork that we already have there. But it is, and it really depicts, a very important piece of our history as African people. It really educates us and kind of, really enlightens us on some of the struggles and some of what we went through. But that's the thing, is it only talks about some of what we've been through. And by ignoring this ancient African, who we were before we got here, that piece, we are really kind of glossing over an extremely beautiful and very significant portion of our history, and something that could really be edifying to us if we just stopped and focused on who we were before all of the struggle and before all of the injustice and before kind of all of the mess that we kind of find ourselves in. So, I kind of lost myself. I just really got into it. But yeah, this is really, we want to use this as an opportunity to really attach people to their roots. And so, yeah, that's really what we're trying to do here.
Wow. Dr. Pollard, this is really an extension to the work and how we work with our students on the campus in any area, any field that they choose to go into after they graduate, to really be prepared.
Absolutely, absolutely. The other, I think the other messaging that just this whole endeavor illustrates to me is the way we raise and create consciousness and within students within the context of an HBCU, that the history, the pre-enslavement period, the centuries before pre-enslavement, are very vital to also forming our self-understanding. I loved what Jenna shared. We are not simply the products of the enslavement period. Prior to the enslavement period, I remember when I took my African American history class back in the days that students never would remember, back when Dr. Murray Harvey was the teacher. And we used John Hope Franklin's text. And I was just so amazed for the first time when I arrived at Oakwood and taking a class in African American history, and the great empires of Songhai, and Ghana, Mele, and Timbuktu, and all of these places where there was just a very vibrant and fertile culture of intellectual and artistic life. So I think anything that we do that helps to recapture that period in the lives of students can be instructive and molding for decades to come in the life of a student. I think that's really, really important. I think on an academic level, one of the questions that we would think about is, why is art, especially the way we're describing it this morning in terms of the physical, visible artistic products, why is that so important to a community? And I think part of the answer is it actually captures and codifies and documents the way reality is experienced and viewed by that community. So I know that's a little bit ethereal, but that's actually what art actually does. I have a beautiful piece in my office by a student artist, a picture of Jesus Christ as the suffering servant with the thorns, et cetera, et cetera. And he's clearly a person of African descent. And the piece is just beautiful. I mean, every day that I look at it, I think, this is wonderful. This again reminds me of the Christ that we serve, who is above all races. And people often say, well, why would you paint him black? Race don't matter. Well, if it don't matter, why can't he be painted black? if it don't matter, right? I mean, if it don't matter, right? So yeah, if it doesn't matter, why can't he be black or Asian or whatever? So when I think about that, I think, yeah, I think there's so much here, and I'm excited about what this is going to yield and what it's going to do. And believe it or not, there are many, many students who are very gifted artistically at Oakwood University. Really, you would be surprised, and this becomes an outlet for us to experience that gift.
Dr. Brown, can you speak to some of what Dr. Pollard said and just respond to sharing with us why art is so important? This is under your department, in your department, and so why is it so important that you have this available?
Well, you know, business is multifaceted with all of the disciplines, and there's a lot of creativity. When you think about marketing, you know, we look into some of the other areas and how things have been trending. Even with the leadership master's program, the MBA program we offer in leadership, one of the courses that we offer is leadership, creativity, and thought. And we know that in business, a lot of things that we see, from products to how businesses operate to new models, even with diversity and so forth, a lot of that stems from thinking. And so when you walk into a place where you have a lot of art, you have a lot of pictures, you begin to think about, especially going back to pre-slavery, you start thinking about what actually lies in you. And I believe that for students who may come in sometimes feeling that they may come from one of those areas, those communities that there wasn't much hope, and then a fire can ignite in them where they realize that while I may work with books or, work with business plans or something like that, that I'm not just that.
Mhm.
And that's exciting because it offers a balance that takes the pressure off. I'm excited because sometimes I'll look at the pictures in the School of Business and I'll walk to other areas, Green Hall and of course Cunningham Hall, where they have a lot of pictures at, and just take my mind off of all of the other things, and almost like I'm sitting in some of those classrooms back in the 50s and 60s and 70s. All Dr. Paula was before my time at Oakwood, but you know, so it can ignite some thinking and possibilities, because of course with entrepreneurship we know and some of the things there, but when you're able to create and reflect on, and you can learn from your past, then it creates an excitement moving forward. And we don't know where we're going to be 5-10 years down the road, and what people will be doing. But as Jenna said, that fire ignites with our students, and we want our students to know that they're more than just calculators and pencil pushers. That there's creativity there, and you can experience all of that regardless of what major you have. And we want the School of Business to be the lighthouse, as we say on the campus, so that people can come in and just be free, to see the expression, the thoughts, the reflections, and then internalize it and say, okay, I can move forward and I can do this too.
Yeah.
So that's what we're excited about.
Thank you. So Jana, as the brainchild of this project, how do you feel about this coming, into place like this and developing, and do you see it going in the right direction as you envisioned?
You said, do I see it going in the direction that I'm hoping?
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Number one, just with the support that I've gotten, like, from Doc Brown and with OU Launchpad. So, that has actually been really, really encouraging. Like I said, this was an idea that I had back when I was a student. And, it was something that I wanted to see happen. And it's kind of, gone kind of in and out of my mind as the years passed, but I just didn't know if there would be any traction if I even mentioned it. And so, that in and of itself has really kind of been like a nice boost, a nice motivator to kind of keep going in that direction. But once again, even, now talking to the different artists that want to be involved and seeing that, they are interested, they are willing, they just really need an opportunity and that push to go in this direction, that really, really encourages me. And so I'm really, really happy to see some of the creativity that this has sparked, some of the questions that students are asking. They want to know, where can they find resources where they can actually research ancient Africa? What videos should they watch? What books should they read? What lecturer should they be listening to? And I think that even if we stop the project right now, which I'm not saying we should, but even if we, completely ended it right now, I feel that we have, kind of created that ripple effect just from having announced, what we're doing and why we're trying to do it.
Right. So art does cost money. It costs money to be creative. So I'm interested, and I know that our listeners are interested in understanding how this is funded and how can they possibly support this project. Dr. Pollard or Samantha, anybody, Dr. Brown, who can respond to that?
Dr. Brown?
Yes. So with the reflections, and as the stakeholders support these projects, of course, the artists will have a portion because it is their art and their project, but we're also looking to have proceeds go into the school entrepreneurship center, the Launchpad, so that it can continue to do some of the other areas in entrepreneurship and the services and the reflections and other initiatives, so that the center will continue to function, continue to grow and expand, to serve not only the students, but the community as a whole. So it serves as a feeder for the center, for the Launchpad, and also for the artists as well, because space is being created and partnerships are being established and formalized. So that's what we are excited about. And even with the School of Business, but mainly the work of the center, which is the extension of the School of Business, where we can continue to provide those services for students and for the community and for artists and others at large, so that we can help people to grow their vision and
Okay.
achieve their realities that they're looking to do.
All right, and I guess I really want to have Samantha come back to give us more information on where students can apply, and is there a website where people can go to and actually make a contribution to support this project?
Yes, so to apply, you can go to www.oulaunchpad.com, and you can go ahead and submit. There's a button at the top where you can click where you can find the application. As far as people who want to contribute, we are talking with the Department of Advancement and Development. I believe that's Sherry Wilson's office, to see how we can collab with her and get people to contribute money or donate money. And there's people who want to share their space for artists to come in and do their work, or just donate supplies. Like people can help in many different type of ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetarily, but we will take your monetarily donations. But we'll have more information posted on our website once we finalize those details, www.oulaunchpad.com.
All right, well, Dr. Pollard, as a parent of two creatives, I know some parents out there are just jumping up and down.
Are just happy to hear this.
My child can come and do at Oakwood University, right? And
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I'm thinking, Donna, Proverbs 18:16. A person's gifts will make room for them. It says a man's gifts, but a person's gifts. And one version says a person's gifts will open doors for them.
Yes.
And this is an open door. This is an opportunity to take one's gift and to allow that gift to be a blessing to others, but also to provide for oneself, provide safety, protection, assurance. One of the things that Dr. Brown will probably appreciate this, those of us who've been trained in business know that there are two kinds of people in the world. They're buyers and they're sellers.
Yes.
and most of us do both of those, right? Most of us do both of those. But again, though, this gives artists an opportunity to support themselves through the gifts that God has given them. And my all-time favorite motivational video is the one by Steve Harvey called Jump. And he talks about that gift that God has given you is a parachute, but the parachute never opens if you don't jump, and you got to jump. So to any young artist today, we encourage you to jump right over to the School of Business and look up the Center for Entrepreneurship and the Launchpad and let your gift take you into the stratosphere. That's really what we want for today.
And not only students, faculty and staff.
Faculty and staff as well. I have artists in my own family, stained glass as well as portraiture. So yes, I understand.
Well, thank you.
If I could just add,
Go ahead.
Please, Jenna.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I wanted to add, there was something you touched on earlier, and I just wanted to say that for the artist, for any artist that is watching and considering getting involved, the biggest obstacle really is in your mind, especially if you're already an artist. You know, a lot of us, we do this every day. We don't even think about creating art. We just do it as a means of just kind of, blowing off steam. It's just the way that we live. And so you are qualified. You're already there. The biggest obstacle is just getting that through your head that you already have this. You have all of this experience of you being in your dorm room and you being in the basement, throwing paint at the wall. Like you've been doing this, So, I just really encourage you to apply and just kind of share with us your gifts.
Thank you so much. This has been an edition of Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. We'll be back again for another edition, and it's going to be Women in STEM again. So join us, and we'll see you there on Thursday at 8.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.